your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Today's joint practice between the Rams and Saints will allow them to run their first team units against each other, but one starter won't be out there for Los Angeles. Quarterback Matthew Stafford, the 37-year-old, again will not be participating. He has yet to take part in practice this summer while dealing with a back injury. Coach Sean McVay has repeatedly downplayed the injury's severity. The Rams do expect that Stafford will be ready for the September 7th regular season opener. The NCAA has formally notified parties tied to the Michigan football NCAA infractions case that an announcement on the findings of the sign-stealing investigation and punishments will be publicly released tomorrow, according to ESPN's Pete Thamel and Dan Wetzel. Yankees first baseman Paul Goldschmidt may land on the injured list ahead of this weekend's series against the Cardinals due to a right knee sprain.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Looking deep downfield, looking for Williams. Comes back, makes the catch, trying to split defenders. Makes them bang into each other. Stays on his feet, breaks a tackle, scores. Ryan Williams, one play, 75 yards.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Listen to the Rocket City Trash Pandas all season long.
Swung on lifted, deep left, back goes O'Donnell, he looks up, it's done, and it's over! Denzer again, the goose is loose!
Trash Panda Baseball is only on Talk Radio WZZN. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Hello and welcome in to the Blitz. John Abraham, Joe Hunk, 2 hours straight of sports talk, goofs, gaffs, your phone calls, and so much more. And you can call us 256-576-97.7. Brody on the other side of the glass producing us as we get throughout today's show. And we've got a lot of fun stuff to get into, whether we're talking the NFL. Of course, all of these little scrimmages between teams is going on right now. Yesterday, we got a little bit of beef back and forth from the Falcons and the Titans, which is
so awesome.
Definitely going to be a talking point for today as we propel ourselves forward. On top of that, we got a little bit of uniform changes happening in college football that happened a lot quicker than I expected they would be. And then, well, huge
It's not every day you hear a
donations.
team say, you know what, I'm going away from Nike.
Yeah, it definitely isn't. And you know what's funny, Joe? Back whenever I was playing high school football, my coach actually threw us an option, okay? He said, okay, guys, well, we got to get new uniforms. We're going to be switching things up. Do you want Adidas? Do you want Nike or Under Armour? And he was telling me the pros and cons of some of these things. I was like, okay, yeah, I would like the Nike. And I know a lot of other people were muttering the Nike would be the better option. And I was like, okay, so that's what we're going to rock with, right? And then a few weeks later, he was like, we're going with Adidas. Why not? Because almost every single high school in the area was rocking Adidas because it's a little bit more user-friendly. I would say it's a little bit cheaper. It's a little bit easier to have on your pads. A lot tighter than I thought they would be, than I expect the Nike uniforms to be. But regardless of all of that, his main reasoning was, the numbers fall off very easy. I was like, what?
Wait, the numbers fall off of which uniform very easily?
The Nike uniforms very easily. I'm like, I don't know. I thought, when it comes to quality, we're rocking with Nike. And this is back in 2015, 2016. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, fine, we're rocking with the Nike, but it didn't really seem right. It didn't look right. And I know I'm not trying to bash on Adidas because they do great stuff in their own right. I love their shoes. But when it comes to the uniforms, it's like whenever you see a team make that jump, they're not going back, Joe.
Yeah, majority of the time you leave and you do not come back. Like with Auburn, they never left Nike to go to Under Armour. They left Russell and went to Under Armour. And now they're going to Nike. I'm trying to think of how many schools actually do choose to go away from Nike once they are a Nike school, which is kind of what Tennessee did. But when you start seeing the numbers on the contract, you go, okay. Yeah, I would rock Nike. I'd rock Adidas for that for a few years. Yeah, absolutely. Because what night now? I think it was $5 million is what Tennessee was getting from Nike as part of their deal to wear Nike stuff, and obviously gear, all that sort of thing. But Adidas is going to pay them $20 million per year.
Oh, okay.
I would throw the New Balance logo on my uniforms if they give me that. Where's Skechers at?
Yeah, I would throw the Skechers on my uniform.
I'll rock Skechers if you are giving me $20 million a year. What is this? By the way, this answer right here is brought to you by Skechers. Go get your new Skechers today at your local shoe carnival. So, I mean, like, I would totally do that.
Get the super soft foam.
For $20 million, you're darn right I would leave one and go to the other. It's a $15 million, especially when majority of that maybe go to what you got to pay for NIL.
I don't know. Like,
I mean, the $20 million literally pays your NIL stuff for the school.
It does. And that's a huge reason why they made the flip, a main reason to why they made the flip, honestly. And I keep looking back to what they had with Adidas. You know, the smoky grays, you know, they did the black uniforms the first time. And I was like, you know, they were cool at the time. But as the years have gone on, I've learned that there's much more to a jersey than just its color. It's the detail within the threads. And I think that looking at the older uniforms and seeing the smoky grays and everything else, it just didn't really match right. And I know, you know, Adidas and Under Armour, they have their own interesting uniforms they like to throw out. I think it was with Rutgers. They did this full sleeve to like do a throwback uniform. And I was like, okay, you know, this goes back to like the 1930s. So I guess they're really going throwback. But Under Armour likes to throw on some wacky details, stuff that has reflection to it. If you remember, the Maryland Terrapins did it last year. But like with Tennessee, what is the extent? What can we change now? Because we just got new smoky uniforms, and I think they look really good. They're not as good as what they have looked like, but they still look really nice. Can you do the same with Adidas?
Well, the problem with these uniforms that you're getting to is that if you continue to come out with them year after year after year, kind of like what Tennessee has done, at some point in time, you do run out of ideas. Like, I honestly thought that, you know, the moment that they went with the Tennessee black and they went all black, that I was like, all right, that's it. That's all you need to do. It's like, okay, that's it. That's the good one. Now I understand the symbolism. It's very much a Army, Navy. Let's go into what every single little detail stands for. Like, I get it. But at some point in time, you've kind of reached a point where it's like, you're doing way too much. And honestly, if I'm a player and I get to walk into whatever room it is and I get to pick out our uniforms for the week, I'm going to be going, okay, like, that one's legit. Like, we know how awesome the home uniform is. They're traditional. Again, even if you're not a Tennessee fan, like how good that looks on the field. We know about, you know, you can do a few things with their away uniforms. They could go back to what they had like in the 90s and early 2000s with the black outline around the numbers. Like, you could go about that. But as far as like home uniforms and these special uniforms they're going with, I love the concept of Halloween and everything that they do around that, and the way they're rocking the all blacks and they stadium the way it looks, and obviously their colors match Halloween, so it kind of flows with it.
It does.
So like that to me is good. Now there's other schools that could do a little bit more. Maryland was literally just going as far left as you could just to see if it would get them the attention that it got. And it did. I mean, they had Stephon Diggs as a wide receiver at Maryland, so it eventually did work. But at the same time, you also still have to win. So there's certain schools like Maryland that's got to kind of go out there to get the attention, whereas one like Florida, you only have to do a few things, go retro, do that sort of thing. I think.
Well, put the alligator skin on the uniform.
God,
come on, now there was that one time
that was hideous.
They really were stretching.
You literally
for something.
deserve to be skinned during that game. Like, every uniform deserved that way.
Yeah,
like those are the things. I do think that Auburn and Alabama both need to lean into it just a little bit, even if it is for the POS game, mainly because it would actually give me a reason to watch the POS game.
I don't know about that. Okay, and when it comes to Alabama to Auburn, I get it with Auburn. Okay, there's a little bit change that you could maybe throw in there. They've already done a little bit different with the face masks and all that. But with Alabama, I think the traditional style is more than fine with the people. I still think that they're bringing in the same amount of people. probably even more if they don't change.
Well, and I understand the idea of the tradition, but at the same time, if you go back through Alabama's history, you have the same thing, just a little different.
I mean, you could put the white helmets on.
Exactly.
That would be a little interesting.
That to me was what you absolutely need to do, is you need to go white helmet.
We got Alabama fans just listening in their car on their way to work, just like, no, God, please.
No, but what I'm saying is this is tradition. Like, if you're talking about what was the greatest time in Alabama history, like what is, outside of what we just saw, what does all Alabama fans, especially the older one, talk about in their lifetime?
Paul Bear Bryant.
Guess what color the helmet was when Paul Bryant was coaching at Alabama for a while?
Just for a little bit.
White. Like, there it is. And the uniforms are still the same. Just add the white helmet.
I get it.
Especially if you're doing a game that's on like September 11th when it's his birthday and things like that, where you could do. I totally believed. I want to go back to, I think it was 2013. Alabama, Texas A&M. It was the return matchup after Johnny Manziel beat Alabama in 2012. That game was happening on September 11th, and I thought this would be the perfect time for Alabama to wear the white helmets. It's the two schools that Coach Bryant coached at that he has the most connections to. This would be a fantastic way to kind of honor him on his birthday in Texas A&M Stadium, and it was like, that would be a cool way to do it. You do it in certain ways. I'm not talking about the houndstooth numbers and all the other
very
stuff,
subtle.
If you go back into Alabama history, and obviously you can do that just by simply going to the museum in Tuscaloosa, like you can see some of the old uniforms. They've always had the same uniform, but just go with something different where, we're going to rock the all black cleats like we used to do back in the early 2000s, or the white helmets like we did back in the 60s. Like,
we don't talk too much about the early 2000s.
No, but that's the sort of things that you're talking about. Like, you can still make shit, and you're literally not touching the uniform at all.
Yeah, well, we might have an opportunity to go down to Tuscaloosa and see that Hall of Fame.
We will on the 29th.
Because week 2 of the high school football season, Sparkman going to be playing Hillcrest, Tuscaloosa. And guys, you got to make sure you download the apps, 97.7 ESPN on Google and Android devices, as well as Apple phones. The mine almost crapped out this morning. That's why I almost forgot it. It literally stopped turning on. And I was I just got my phone.
Your phone stopped working?
It almost did the same thing it did probably like a year and a half ago whenever it fell out of my pocket and it just nuked itself. It just stopped working. It got really hot and then it stopped working. It almost did the same thing today. I'm terrified of my phone. Regardless, make sure you download the apps because you'll be able to listen to all of the games that we have to offer for you guys over on the High School Sports Streaming Network. A lot of cool uniforms in the Tennessee Valley as well. But Joe, I wanted to ask you this before we get on with the conversation. Of course, we got a lot of fun things to get into. And the Tennessee conversation is just to start it off, okay? Uniform changes are a pretty big deal because you care about what is on the field, not just the play, but the look of your team. Trust me, I would know when the Browns switched to those ugly, god-awful, terrible uniforms back in 2014, I was almost done with my fandom for that team. They sucked anyway, but regardless, Joe,
I'm trying to think of which horrible uniform it is because they're all horrible.
What are you talking about? There's nothing horrible about the uniform they've got now.
Yeah, wear the uniform when y'all are a winner. Do that. Just do that.
Well, yes. I mean, it would be better if we were winning. But regardless, Joe, what are some of the teams that you think of throughout college football that have really awesome uniforms?
Oh, see,
now Joe Hunk quiz game.
Joe quiz game. Actually, this morning I thought of a new type of quiz game that I want to do at some point in time. It's still developing up in my mind.
There's been a few quiz games throughout this station's
the
history.
Fun John Abraham quiz game is absolutely going to stay, but this one is something that would be for you and I, and it would actually be Brody asking the questions.
Ooh, I like that. It does feel like a game show with Brody on the other side. He's just sitting with his coffee.
So now here's my thing is I'm going to say there's some uniforms I will look at, and especially this is 100% the way that I choose what teams I play with in college football 26. Like if I'm building dynasties, I've already started one dynasty, and it's all because of the uniform, and it is Utah.
And Utah rocks what type of uniform?
They rock it's red and black and white are their colors, but their helmet is the Washington Redskins helmet, but with the letter U in it instead of the Native American.
But what brand do they have those uniforms within?
I want to say that's Are they a Nike school?
Pretty sure they were a Nike.
I think they're a Nike school because they used to be an Under Armour school.
I think they're still an Under Armour school. Yeah, they're.
Are they an Under Armour school? Because what they did,
which kind of kills the point of what I was trying to get at. Most schools that you think of with really cool uniforms. Now, mind you, there are a few. It's Under Armour because Boston College has had some cool ones. Notre Dame, of course, rocking with Under Armour. Utah, like you said, rocking with Under Armour. But then you've got the Oregons.
Hold on. Are the traditionals like the uniforms that you think about? The cool uniforms?
I'm talking about the swag. Because Tennessee gained a different level of swag whenever they switched to Nike.
When they went to Nike, it went to a whole different level. That's what makes me nervous about the Adidas stuff. Is that you go back into Adidas, and I know that was what they were wearing in the 90s, but then you have all the stuff connected with the 2000s, the way the gear looked then, the atrocious cage on the jerseys, garbage that they had every single team wearing.
If you want an example of a team that has gone from Nike, their swag era, to Adidas, which is, yes, more traditional, the way that they're looking right now, just look at Miami. Okay, Miami was rocking some off-the-wall type uniforms.
Those were atrocious.
But I honestly didn't think they were terrible. Now, the helmets were looking crazy. Their uniforms were kind of crazy. But, whenever they went to Adidas, it went straight traditional. So that's the one turning point. So for our listeners, you might not be getting those crazy off-the-wall, smoky gray uniforms or the black on black on black that looks so cool. It's not even funny.
I wonder if schools are if Adidas is using Miami as their pitch team to show this is what our uniforms are like in 2024. This is what we're doing. Don't think about us in the early 2010s and the way that those uniforms are. Like, we've changed direction. I don't know if somebody new is over there or whatever when it comes to designing the uniforms, but I wonder if it's more of this is us now. We are not the same company that we were a decade ago when we were making that stuff when we lost so many clients. I'm kind of curious if that is it, where they used Miami to go, we understand your tradition. We want you to go with the tradition. We do not want to force a style on you that your players are going to dislike. And we want to make sure that we give you options. And if you don't like them, then okay, we can go back to the drawing board, but we don't want to be this over the top, horrendous type of look the same way that it was for a few years in the early 2010s.
No doubt. I know we have a split amount of listeners that would probably think, tradition's fine. We don't need anything crazy on the field. As long as it looks good, it looks traditional, there's not too much going on, that's totally fine. And then we have the younger listeners who are thinking, dude, Oregon, bro, they've got the coolest uniforms in all of college football. I know there's a split. I think at some point in time, I think Oregon has jumped the shark. And they're kind of the example I talk about with Tennessee. You can only do so much. So they've done it all.
That you have got to start going in a different direction as far as what you want to do. That's the reason why they started going with their retro uniforms and doing it with the retro colors, because you've basically done everything with your new colors. Now, a team that I would love to see get some new uniforms.
Oh, jeez.
Is actually on the pro level, and that is the Atlanta Falcons. Helmets, I'm totally cool with. Those things look awesome. Uniforms themselves, totally different. But if you are a Falcons fan, which we are a Falcons affiliate, then you know that coming up tomorrow night, the Atlanta Falcons are going to be back on the field. It just so happens that we are merging all the radio stations that we are currently on because they are playing the Tennessee Titans, which you can hear in Winchester on ESPN Winchester. So the two teams that we focus on the most when it comes to the NFL here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, when I don't have John talking about the Cleveland Browns, is the Atlanta Falcons and the Tennessee Titans. And Marc Raimondi is about to join us. The Titans and Falcons have had multiple joint practices over the last few days. They are going to hit the field tomorrow night at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You'll be able to hear it on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, as well as ESPN Winchester. That'll be the Titans broadcast. He joins us next on the Blitz, the ESPN Winchester, 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and WZZN TV.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham. You can watch the Blitz live now on X at 97.7 ESPN.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that his mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. And check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Tom Abraham here from my friends at Your Home Window. Now is the time to take advantage of their huge end of summer sale and get ready for the fall. Right now, all windows are 35% off. All exterior doors are 40% off. Now you get the whole door, just the price is 40% off. And get this, 0% interest for 18 months, as in no interest, nada, none. As always, the estimates are free, as is the lifetime warranty. To make an appointment, go to yourhomewindow.com. That's yourhomewindow.com.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Your Fox 54 weather, brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Temperatures climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s today under a partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky. Once again, we're talking about the chance for some isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms. We drop into the low and mid 70s as we head into the overnight. Much the same for your Friday, partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky, scattered showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures climbing into the upper 80s, lower 90s.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. The Atlanta Braves.
Cranks one high in the air to deep left field. That's going to fly away. It's a 3-run homer. And Sean Murphy off the injured list and onto the stat page with a 3-run homer off Zach Wheeler.
All season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back into the Blitz. John Abraham, Joe Hunk, Brody over on the board. We started off with some uniform news, but on top of uniforms, teams are changing left and right. That doesn't include just the college football scene, but the NFL as well. And we are getting into a conversation about a team that we cover extensively. But before we do that, I'd like to remind you that this show is presented by the wonderful people over at Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingRoofingAnd Roofing and Restoration. FlemingHSV.com, the place to find them. And remember that Fleming always shows up, and they've got you covered. Similar to Marc Raimondi from ESPN and the Atlanta Falcons, and he joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline as we get closer to the season. Marc, how are you doing today, man?
I'm great, guys. How are you?
We're doing wonderful.
Good. Now you're not outside today. Like they didn't have any. They don't have joint practice today, right?
That's correct. I'm outside right now, but I'm not outside at Falcons practice.
Now I'm gonna let.
Luckily, the sun is not out. I've been cooking the last few weeks.
Now I'm going to let everybody know this is kind of a 2-part interview that we're going to be doing with Marc, because John doesn't know the other reason in which I have asked Marc to come on the show to talk to us, and he's laughing because he knows what I'm talking about. But so we'll get to that in just a little bit. But here in the beginning, we want to focus on your first job, which that is the Atlanta Falcons. And John and I were just talking about the way this Falcons team has been going.
Yeah, and at the beginning of the season, of course, you got the first preseason game, and this one for the Falcons, it was pretty interesting. I mean, Easton Stick, we got to see plenty of him. He looks good, but talk a little bit about the rest of the team, what you liked, what you didn't like, and who we might be seeing making that first team squad.
I think the defense was pretty impressive, and this is after a year where the Falcons defense really was not very good, right? In 2024, it was the weakest part of the team in several aspects. And I thought that they were able to get pressure on the quarterback. And again, it's the preseason, and is everyone playing their starters? Not really. The Falcons certainly did not play their starters, and the Lions pretty much didn't either. But there were definitely some flashes. There were definitely some things that if you're a Falcons fan, certainly there were positives to take away of, Brandon Dorlus, Ruka Rororo, those guys who were rookies last year. They seem to be making, big improvements going into year two. And just the defense in general under Jeff Ulbrich, the new defensive coordinator, I think seems to be a much improved unit.
How was all the players after that game on last week with everything that happened with Maurice Norris and the way the game ended? I mean, obviously it's a preseason game, so the game doesn't matter. It's like, whose line is it anyway? Like nothing matters. And so I'm kind of curious, like when you went into the locker room and when you were talking to those guys, like what was the feeling like?
It was quiet in there. It was quiet, and I think that everyone was on the same page as far as they were completely fine with stopping that game where it was. I don't think, anyone was upset about that decision. I talked to a few guys in the locker room, and they were saying that, this is someone's life. It's bigger than football. And it was also, one of those things where all of these guys have been playing football for their whole lives, right? Since they were kids, all of them. And when something like that happens, it's kind of jarring. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, wow, it really puts things into perspective, because they know that could be them at any point, right? That's the game. That's what it is. It's a violent game. It's a physical game. It's a contact sport. And that, I think, was the main feeling, like, hey, we've all been doing this for a long time. Any one of us could be in that position. So, let's respect Maurice Norris. Let's respect, the fact that, we don't need to play the rest of this game. It doesn't mean anything.
No, and we wish him, of course, a speedy recovery. And I do want to talk about the quarterback situation right now. Of course, Michael Penix Jr. comes in. You still got Kirk Cousins. There's opportunities to maybe trade him off, but are we going to see any of these guys anytime soon in the preseason, or is Kirk Cousins, is he possibly done as a Falcon, and by the end of preseason he's going to be on a different team?
Well, we're not going to see Michael Penix Jr. in the preseason at all. Raheem Morris has made that pretty clear. He's just not going to play Penix. He does not want Penix to get hit in the preseason. He wants to save that for games that actually count. And that's his philosophy, and it was like that last year as well. He didn't play his starters. Even Penix, who was the backup last year, only played, I think, one series in the first game, and that was it. And as far as Kirk Cousins, Morris left the door open for Cousins to play in the preseason. I'm of the belief that that's probably not going to happen. I think we're going to be seeing Easton Stick and Emory Jones again the next couple weeks. I don't think we'll see Kirk in the preseason. As far as them trading him, they are absolutely open to doing so. The question is, who is that dance partner? Who is going to be out there for Kirk Cousins as far as a target team? Because it needs to be someone who's going to start Kirk, because he has the no trade clause. Yeah. And he is not going to accept any trade unless it's going to be somewhere where he is going to start from day one. He's already a backup in Atlanta. He's not going to go somewhere else and be the backup, elsewhere. If he's going to move, it's going to have to be for a starting role.
Well, and with that too, like it's almost, and I could be totally reading this wrong, so help me, is I almost feel like at this point in time, the Falcons have this, this ace of spades that they're sitting over here with, and they're just kind of waiting to see what team is going to have that big injury and be in a situation where they need to make that trade. Is there something that the Falcons would be looking for that they could say, yes, we're willing to trade Kirk Cousins for X or Y? Like, is there something they have to have? Is it a 1? Is it a 2? Like, what is it?
The biggest thing, honestly, is probably just the money. It's probably just the money because he's owed $27.5 million this year. So a team would need to kind of take on at least some of that. Certainly not all of that. I think that's not going to happen, right? But a team will take on at least some of that money. And the pick, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much Kirk Cousins gets at this point. Could be a third-day pick. If they could get a second-day pick for him, I think they would be very happy about that. But, a fourth or fifth rounder, I think, would probably be the going rate at this juncture. But, as you guys mentioned, teams, if they lose their quarterback, they can get desperate.
Yeah.
And Kirk Cousins, look, I mean, if this is a contending team, they lose their quarterback, Kirk Cousins is a proven NFL starter at a pretty solid level. He's been, a good starting quarterback in the NFL for over a decade. And he's looked pretty darn good in training camp. I won't lie. I mean, he has looked pretty sharp, and he looks healthier than he did last year. He looks more mobile than he did last year. I think he's a guy that can come in and win games in the NFL this season. Probably not going to beat the Falcons, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and Marc, I totally agree with you. But Marc Raimondi from ESPN, the Atlanta Falcons, joins us here on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, and I want to talk a little bit about what happened just yesterday. A little bit of a scuffle between the Titans and the Falcons during, of course, the scrimmages. I mean, what happened there? And I hear Michael Penix was even involved in that. I doubt the coaches want to see any of that.
Not just involved, but at the center of it. So Michael Penix completes a long pass to Ray-Ray McCloud. There's some trash talk between him and the Titans defenders. And then things get physical. The offensive line for the Falcons jumps in, and it's just a huge scrum. It's a huge skirmish. The players from both sidelines run onto the field, and it's just a mess. And Michael Penix Jr. is there in the middle of this pile and got thrown to the floor at one point. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, oh, my goodness.
No.
The Falcons coaches have to be just going like, oh, please, no, let's hope, for the best. There's got to be panic on the sideline from them. And it turned out that everything was okay. He was uninjured, but certainly a scary moment. These things do happen in football. They do happen actually almost every joint practice, it feels like, across the league. But you don't want your QB1 in there at the bottom of the pile for certain.
No doubt about it. And I mean, you actually love to see this from your players, a little bit of physicality between each other. It shows the emotion, it shows the fight. But of course, starting quarterback, I don't know about that one, Chief. But regardless, last thing for the Falcons and the Titans, of course, you saw some positives from the defense in the preseason game, one against the Lions. And now, hopefully, we get to see a full game against the Titans. What would you want to see kind of bolster up a little bit, whether it's the offense or the defense, before getting into preseason 3?
Well, would love to see Friday night. Would love to see more out of Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr., the rookies. Mm-hmm. They didn't play poorly last week by any stretch. James Pierce Jr. was actually double teamed and chipped quite a few times on the edge by the Lions, which I think was interesting and shows how much they respected him, even though he's a rookie. Because he has been tearing it up in camp. There's no doubt. He's been one of their best defensive players in training camp. So I'd love to see, those guys get on the board with the sack, get some more penetration, get to the quarterback a little bit more. And then I would say the secondary, I think you want to see Xavier Watson, Billy Bowman. I'm talking about all the rookies because they're all going to play most likely Friday night. And they're both vying for starting jobs. Watts at safety and Bowman in the nickel. And I think that those competitions right now are very, very close. And I think that if you're the Falcons, you want to see someone kind of break through, and maybe that's a Watson, maybe that's a Bowman.
All right, so now we can swap topics, and Marc knows exactly where I'm going to be going with this, because not only is he covers the Atlanta Falcons for ESPN, he is also an author of a brand new book that has only been out for a little over a month right now. I just started it. I'm only one chapter in, Mark. I've gotten through obviously the introduction and the first chapter. And the title of this book is Say Hello to the Bad Guys: How Professional Wrestling's New World Order Changed America.
You're right. I would have never
You never would have thought this. And so what's funny is for Mark is when I looked Mark up, I was like, dude, this book is awesome. It's great. We talk wrestling on the show. And then I saw right beside his name, it said, covers the Atlanta Falcons. I said, oh, this is perfect. Like, this is my perfect dream scenario right here to get Mark on. The book is obviously about the NWO, but in the introduction, you said that in it, you spent time down in Florida with Hulk Hogan.
No.
Okay.
I went to his beach shop, but I never actually got to spend any time with him. Yes.
Yeah. So you go down to this beach, and what was the basis of wanting to write this whole book about the NWO? And obviously, book came out on June 24th, and we had no idea what was going to happen about a month later.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a convergence of things. I'm a lifelong wrestling fan, and I really. I really admire and I have a lot of affection for that art, and I see it as an art. And I've always felt like, if you know wrestling, you kind of see it everywhere. You see it in all, forms of media. You see it in politics. You see it in, sports at times, and what I mean by that is kind of that manufactured conflict to get engagement. I mean, social media is kind of like all about that these days, right?
Yeah.
There's also people putting on like different personas, on social media. And I feel like, if you understand wrestling, you kind of see it everywhere. And I've always felt that way. And I would say it all the time to friends, but I never really had like a way to express that outside of just with my buddies. And then in 2019, I wrote about the NWO going to the WWE Hall of Fame for ESPN. And again, this was a formative part of my life. In '96, I was 11 years old, and I remember it vividly. That whole time period in wrestling, it was so big for many of us. And I kind of overwrote this story for ESPN.com, if I'm being honest. Like, I kind of put a little bit more heart and soul into a story like that. That could have been like a 500-word just news piece. But I put more into it. And then a year and a half later, I get an email from an editor at Simon & Schuster, the book publisher. And this editor is asking me if I want to write a book about the NWO.
Wow.
They saw my article on ESPN.com, and they had wanted to do a book about the NWO. They didn't know who the author would be, and then they saw my article and they were like, "This is our guy." He overwrote this story. He put a lot of passion into this and the cultural context that they were looking for, and they contacted me, and that was pretty much it. Then it was off to the races, and I got a chance to kind of express, in a book, how I feel about wrestling.
That's awesome. Okay, so it's like, this is why you should always give 120%. Okay, you can make the best article, but if you go 120%, hey, you know what? You might be writing a book.
You're on TV doing stuff for MMA. You're on TV for the Falcons. You're on ESPN, and the next thing you know, it's like, hey, that article that you just kind of wrote, that you just kind of just had fun with on it? How about you make that into an entire book about the history of the NWO? And a lot of us grew up in that era. Like, the NWO and Hulk Hogan turning bad is what actually got me back into watching professional wrestling again. So this whole thing about what's happened over the last few months and going back through it, like, I've learned a lot. But what did you learn when writing this book that you just went, I never knew that? This whole time I've known all this stuff about NWO, but I never knew about what?
There were quite a few things. I would say probably the biggest is the logo, because the logo is so synonymous with the group. And I would argue that the logo is one of the most iconic in American pop culture over the last few decades, right? And what I knew about it was that it was designed by Disney MGM Studios, and that was kind of like the prevailing narrative that was said over and over again on podcasts and documentaries and so on and so forth. And then I interviewed a WCW producer, and he told me, you should find the person who designed the logo. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? I thought it was designed by Disney MGM Studios. And he's like, yes, that is true, but no one knows the identity of the person who actually sat down at the computer and did it and designed it. And I'm like, wow, I really did not know that. So then my like reporter's instincts kicked in, my journalism degree and my background kicked in. And I'm like, I got to find this person.
Yes,
I got to do everything I can to find this person. Yeah, because what an amazing story that is. No one has known who this person is for almost 30 years. And I did. I tracked her down. I found out who she was. It took months of reporting, months of cold calling people, and people asking me like, "How did you get my number? Why are we talking about something that happened in 1996?" But I tracked her down. She's a real estate agent now in Winter Park, Florida. She got out of the design business many years ago, but she never saw a penny of residuals from that logo, a logo that has sold. Gosh, the first thing that she asked me when I contacted her and we spoke on the phone was, how many T-shirts did they actually sell with that logo? And I'm like, Jenny, you don't want to know the answer to that, because the answer, no one knows the real number, but it's in the, probably tens of millions of dollars worth of T-shirts they've sold over the years, right?
Yeah.
It's still a top-selling shirt on WWE Shop online.
A matter of fact, I bought the NWO Wolfpack version of it on WWE online. Like I did, because that was the one that I loved. Like I hated the NWO white, but NWO red and black, dude, that is an intro to one of our segments that we do on the show. When we do Dog of the Week, we use the NWO Wolfpack song. Like, this is all part of it. And you're talking about that she saw no money. Like, that's the number that you could find possibly about how many are sold, aren't even counting the fake versions of this that have been sold on eBay and outside the arenas and everything, man.
It's a crazy story. And what you just said about the Wolfpack music being the intro, so it's one of your segments, that illustrates exactly the subtitle of this book. And when I came out with it, when I announced the cover last year, people were like, "Oh, you changed America." That seems a bit of a reach. But what you just said is exactly why it changed America, because these are things that have that still exist in our world, in our country now. It is a part of us, from when we were kids. And we've taken it with us into adulthood and whatever it is that we're doing in the world. And that's how it's shaped America, because how do you shape a society and a culture? You shape the people inside the society and culture. And we were certainly, shaped and impacted by that period of time in wrestling and the NWO.
Well, and also, like, we're looking at a lot of things that happen even now. You're talking about wrestling. You can see it everywhere. I mean, one of the biggest stables throughout the entire world that has been able to evolve even more than what NWO did is the Bullet Club in Japan with New Japan Wrestling. Mm-hmm. And they literally used the hand signal that NWO used. Like, it's the same thing.
The gestures, the cross chop. I mean, yeah, they kind of it was a little bit of an NWO tribute group, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and even now, like whenever
like a cover band.
Exactly. And even now with the former members of the Bullet Club that are now in WWE, they then turn it into their thing that they're doing. Judgment Day has done it. Like, you've seen it with the OC when they were doing it. And in fact, I think it was AJ and Finn that were going back and forth, kind of hinting at the whole thing and even doing the hand gesture going, like, we all know, but it was all, they talk about the Bullet Club, but this all goes back to NWO and what happened, because even now, like when John Cena turned heel at Elimination Chamber, the only thing people ever compared it to was the formation of the NWO.
Correct. And that was how impactful that group, that storyline was, that, almost every group and faction now is somewhat derivative of the NWO, as you mentioned. And it's carried over. It was almost 30 years ago, and you still see people talking about it. Kevin Durant wore the NWO logo when he was in Brooklyn, because, all those guys went there, him and James Harden. And Kyrie Irving, like they were called the NWO. So Kevin Durant pulled up, at one game with an NWO jacket on. Like Kendall Jenner wore the NWO Wolfpack shirt at Michael Kors runway fashion show. I mean, it's remarkable the staying power and the significance and the relevance that group and that storyline still has today in 2025.
All right, before we let you go, because part of the reason I did start the book after having it for a few weeks was because of what happened with Hulk Hogan. Through this whole time of you reading and researching the book and going down to his shop and everything, what about Hulk Hogan did you learn that you went out of all of this time? Everything about it, you talk in the book about the reason he wore yellow and red. You talk about the reason why he started choosing Real American and Eye of the Tiger and all that stuff in the very first, chapter and introduction. But was there something there that you just went, how has nobody ever talked about this?
I think I learned so many things about Hulk Hogan, and unfortunately I never actually got to talk to him myself. I talked to pretty much everyone around him, from his manager to his agent to his lawyer to, Jimmy Hart was his, longtime confidant as well. And I mean, there were a lot of things. It's hard to kind of pinpoint just one, but one thing that Hulk Hogan is a complex individual, right? Yeah. We know about some of the out of the ring stuff that happened in recent years with the racial remarks and then stuff like that. We know about all that. But I mean, he was also disliked by many people in wrestling because of politics and because he had creative control in WCW and he utilized that creative control to kind of keep himself on top. And I really feel like if you learn about Hulk Hogan, there's a reason for that. And the reason is in 1990, and this is actually interesting because this was my introduction to wrestling, Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior in 1990, WrestleMania, Toronto Sky Dome. That was the first memory of wrestling for me is that match, like the lead up to that match. And Hulk Hogan was the top guy, right, since 84, 85, WrestleMania 1. It was 90. And Vince McMahon, the promoter, was ready to move on. He wanted the Ultimate Warrior to be the face of the company. He wanted Hogan to pass the torch, to lose the title in that main event of WrestleMania. And Hogan did that. But Hogan resented that so much, felt betrayed by it. And everything after that was kind of informed by that situation. He felt betrayed by Vince McMahon, someone they trusted and considered a close friend, if not a best friend. And he thought he was still the guy that should be on top. And it ended up being true because the Warrior was not the guy. They had to take the belt off Warrior. He was not reliable. He was not the kind of workhorse that Hulk Hogan was as far as doing all the appearances and all the signings and whatnot. So Hogan was validated by that situation and then felt like every other situation was like that moving forward. Does that make sense? Like he felt like every time they tried to move on from him and have him pass the torch, that it was the wrong decision. And he was the guy. He was wrestling. He was the one that was going to, keep wrestling hot, keep the business hot. Nothing is like that in entertainment in the world. Trends, come and go. Everyone has their time. And he was just not willing to let go because he felt like he was right that one time in 1990, and he was going to be right after that as well. And that played a part in all of his decision making and all the creative control that he utilized in WCW. It was really all based on that 1990 match with Warrior.
Well, and I know we're going to let you go, but there's a part in that book that I have gotten to about the ideas that Hogan sat down and pitched to Vince McMahon about some things that he would have loved to try during that match and stuff that not going to ruin. But if that would have happened, that would have taken everything in a totally different direction. And I think that it is, it's cool that stuff is in the book. And if you haven't gotten it, you can get it on Amazon. You can also get it on Audible. Marc is the one that actually reads it on Audible. That's what I'm doing. And so I appreciate it. We appreciate you hopping on talking about the Falcons. And obviously my other side, my wrestling fandom appreciates what all you've done for this book. Cause I also do love the story about you walking around in Japan and people doing the NWO hand gesture to you. That was awesome. So we appreciate it. It was huge in Japan too.
It was massive in Japan.
See, like that, and that's also part of it because everybody here knows how much I love Japanese baseball. So I appreciate it. We appreciate it, man, and thank you so much. And thank you for hopping on as well to talk about the Falcons and the Titans and that game coming up tomorrow night.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, have a good one. That's Marc Raimondi. He is the covers the Atlanta Falcons for ESPN. So if you're ever watching on and you will see these hits that they're doing throughout, they're going to be doing it with him. And yes, this was literally a perfect storm for me to find him because I did start this book a few weeks ago and I was like, let me look this up, man. This is something I know would be a great interview. Yeah. And right when it popped up on his X feed, the first thing it says is covers the Falcons for ESPN. And I went, oh my heavens. Yeah. This is amazing.
For anybody who tuned in the last 18 minutes, they probably had no idea that he was talking anything Falcons. I'm going to be honest with you. So that means that me and Brody are going to find a guest that can totally talk football and then flip the script completely, talk a little bit of NASCAR as well. All right.
Look, if it hits both, like that's
it's going to happen, Joe. I don't care because whenever it does happen, you're like, oh God, no.
I did. And I'm going to look at you and just go, touche. I did this to you guys.
Damn right.
It was it. I knew we need to get somebody on Falcons. And then when I also knew that he wrote this book, I just went, man, this is, I know that there are people driving around that are going, I know this. I remember this. I know all this stuff.
Mhm.
The parts in this book that I've already gotten to are so incredibly good.
No.
And I love that he was able to kind of go in depth with them. But see, got Falcons and got wrestling. I'm good. I'm good for the day. Y'all want to talk NASCAR the next hour and a half? Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, that's what we might do.
Have
but
at it.
There's some sales that are being approved and some sales being made over in the sports world. So when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about that. And you guys can also react to the NWO conversation that included a little bit of Falcons, Titans this upcoming weekend. 256-576-97.7 here on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, ESPN Winchester, and WZZN TV.
This is The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. 256-576-4977.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Atlanta Braves, another 58 road dog today at the New York Mets. Bryce Elder on the mound for the Braves, 4-9 at 6.12 ERA. Kodai Senga for the Mets, 7-4, 2.30 earned run average. He is $1.94 home favorite, 8.5 over the total. Tennessee Titans and the Atlanta Falcons at Mercedes-Benz Stadium tomorrow night, week 2 of the NFL preseason. Michael Penix Jr. will not play this week. He was involved in a fight yesterday during the joint practice with the Titans. Kirk Cousins might play on Friday night. Titans laying 4.5 on the road, 37.5 the total at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Have you seen the beautiful new Nexus apartment community right next to UAH? Nexus is designed exclusively for students. You'll love having private bedrooms and bathrooms, a fully furnished kitchen, and incredible amenities like 2 courtyards, a refreshing pool with grilling stations, and TV, gaming, and study lounges, all within an easy walk to campus and your classes. If you want the full collegiate experience, come take a personal tour at Nexus today. Log on nexusonhomes.com to see more, including limited time rate specials.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer again. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is extremely proud to have recently received numerous awards, including being voted Best Wings in the state of Alabama. Other awards received include Best All-Around Restaurant, Best American Restaurant, #1 Sports Bar, Best Chef, Best Wings, and Best Dining Experience. Thank you for 43 legendary years, and we look forward to providing you an award-winning dining experience at every visit. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
We are a championship school, and school is in session.
Makes the catch, makes them bang into each other, stays on his feet, breaks the tackle, scores!
Join us Saturday, August 30th as the Crimson Tide open the 2025 season in Tallahassee against Florida State on your home for Alabama football.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey girl, I like your flavor. Wish I could be.
Before we get out of the first hour, that was very fun. Marc Raimondi from ESPN and then the Atlanta Falcons joined us just a second ago.
You really didn't sound like you had a lot of fun when you said it was very fun.
No, I had a lot of fun. I did the first half of that segment.
I know Jared loved it.
The second half was really cool. Look, I understand we got a lot of WWE fans, NWO fans, and even I have dabbled into some of those events as well, but I've just never gotten into the lore like a lot of people truly have. But
yeah, Jared said, I love talking wrestling on here. See? Thank you, Jared.
Jared would always talk wrestling on here.
It's a part of everything. It literally connects to everything.
But when it comes down to it, the NBA reigns supreme, and that's why teams are getting sold for so much money. And one team just got approved for a record-setting sale, which isn't record-setting anymore.
The NBA reigns supreme.
Yeah, more than the WWE. People are going to hate me for that one. $6.1 billion price tag for the Boston Celtics. It has gotten approved. Bill Cristobal.
WWE signed a $5 billion deal for just television rights.
$1 billion to sell one team, Joe.
Just
one
saying.
team. I'm just
Anyways,
saying. And the Lakers, like a little bit later after that, sold for $10.1 billion. So, again, this is bees after these. The third highest sold team, the Washington Commanders, after Dan Schneider, $6.05 billion. And then we got Chelsea FC, which I don't watch soccer. Unless I'm in Florida. I'm sorry, brother. That's the one thing we don't connect on. If I'm in Florida, I'll watch some soccer. Denver Broncos back in 2022, 4.65. And the Phoenix Suns and the Mercury, a little 2-for-1 for $4 billion, which I'm pretty sure the Phoenix Suns costed $4 billion. And then they just kind of threw in the Mercury.
Yeah, Phoenix Suns cost $3.5 billion.
Okay, so
and then the other $500 million was for.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, again, as much as NBA ratings are down and WNBA ratings are what they are, you also can't argue with the fact that those arenas are sold out.
You can't. Going back, hour two. Up next.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. This is The Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your customers deserve the best, and so do you. You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loader from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all day comfort. Best of all, now Thompson Tractor is making that investment even better with our Workhorse Special. Get 0% financing for 36 months on the purchase of a new Cat 255 compact track loader that comes with a 3-year warranty. You also get a 74-inch bucket and 1,000-hour filter kit. Due to popular demand, this offer is extended through September 30th. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
This is Steve Moulton for Tellini's Italiano. Tellini's Italiano is located right in front of the Walmart, right off of University, behind the McDonald's. More or less catty corner from Topgolf. It's one of my favorite places to go to, and if you go there, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you need to try the baked spaghetti, add a meatball. Also try the baked ziti with meat sauce, add sausage. You'll thank me. Save room for some pizzas and paninis as well. And don't forget about dessert as well. The best cheesecake I have had here in North Alabama is at Tellini's Italiano. Find out for yourself today. That's Tellini's Italiano, right off of University Drive in front of the Walmart. Located online at Tellinis.com. That's TELLINIS.com. Let's get some Tellinis tonight.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games, and if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title, because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports, and it's brought to you by Crimson Drive. Watch Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, Thursday at 2 p.m. Central on all CTSN social media platforms at UA_CTSN. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. Here are thoughts from Alabama soccer head coach Wes Hart as the 2025 season begins tonight for Alabama on the road at Louisiana Tech.
Our mentality, our willingness to battle, compete, and fight. We purposely set up a couple really tough preseason games, to challenge us and stretch us. For us, that was more valuable than playing games that we're going to win by 5 goals. It's like, no, we got to find out who we are right out of the gate. And so for us, we proved that we're willing to fight and compete and battle and do all the little things that go a long ways. I think we're more athletic than we've been in the past. Added a couple players to the group that add some athleticism, especially into the back line. We're really excited about what we've seen so far, but also know that we still got a long way to go.
I'll have more in a moment. Hey, Bama fans, each Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. Central, join us live for Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This live streaming talk show features the latest on Alabama athletics with exclusive conversations with Tide student athletes, coaches, and media members giving their perspective on the Crimson Tide. You can watch on YouTube, Facebook, and X, with all conversations archived as well on the Alabama Insider podcast. Roll Tide with Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. If you missed last night's edition of Hey Coach and the Kalen DeBoer Show, catch it on demand on our social media platforms, plus the Alabama Insider podcast, available on all podcast platforms. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Atlanta Braves, another 58 road dog today at the New York Mets. Bryce Elder on the mound for the Braves, 4-9 at 6.12 ERA. Kodai Senga for the Mets, 7-4, 2.30 earned run average. He is $1.94 home favorite, 8.5 over the total. Tennessee Titans and the Atlanta Falcons at Mercedes-Benz Stadium tomorrow night, week 2 of the NFL preseason. Michael Penix Jr. will not play this week. He was involved in a fight yesterday during the joint practice with the Titans. Kirk Cousins might play on Friday night. Titans laying 4.5 on the road, 37.5 the total at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your Fox 54 weather, brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Temperatures climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s today under a partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky. Once again, we're talking about the chance for some isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms. We drop into the low and mid 70s as we head into the overnight. Much the same for your Friday, partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky, scattered showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures climbing into the upper 80s, lower 90s.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256 576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Second hour, final hour, best hour on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV. Welcome into the Blitz. Joe Hunk, John Abraham. On this Thursday, which means tomorrow is Friday, which means what is happening next Friday night?
High school football!
Yes, woo! A lot of high school football. We do have some jamboree games that are going to be taking place the next couple of days. But as far as week 0 is concerned, week 0 will begin next Friday. John and myself will be in Harvest for Sparkman and Spain Park.
I'm so excited. And if you guys go and check out the website, 977ESPN.com, you get the full rundown of what we're going to have on the radio. Of course, Buckhorn versus Decatur. Going to be on 97.7 ESPN, the main feed. On Zone 2, a.k.a. the Mustang Zone.
The Stang
Zone is going to be
that Stang.
Madison Academy versus Mars Hill. On Zone 3, a.k.a. the Raider Zone. We're going to have a poll which one of these you like the best, because I think they flow in their own ways. They're going to be playing, Westminster? Who is that? WM. Who is it? Dang it. I have the picture pulled up. I did have the
okay.
West Morgan. That's who it is. The Rebels.
Yeah, the team that could throw up like 70 points a game last year.
I don't know why. It slipped my mind. And then on Zone 4, of course, the Senator Zone.
That is going to be Sparkman.
Spain Park.
And Spain Park.
Very excited.
Round 2, where Sparkman is going to get a second opportunity at the Clemson commit at quarterback.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And then on Zone 5, a.k.a. the Wildcat Zone. Again, some of these flow a little bit better than the other ones, but regardless, you're going to be able to listen to your team here. Westminster are going to be going up against East Limestone. They are the Indians, and it's going to be a lot of fun, Joe. I feel like this offseason's kind of flown by. And we're right back into the high school football season, going into year 2 with calling games with you, year 3 calling games with a Joe.
Yeah, and it's one that I'm sitting and I'm having to kind of get myself ready, because having to go and get to coaches and talk to everybody about, who's coming back, who's left, like what's, that sort of stuff. Because, I mean, next week we are right back into like our normal fall schedule.
Yeah.
Coaches on, players, all this stuff.
I love how we call it normal. It is a good amount of the year that we have like the football talk and we have all of our segments in full force. But I love whenever we get into the fall. Of course, football is my favorite sport, but regardless, it feels like the right time to get into all of the fun stuff that we have to offer here. And it also includes a lot more of the promotional love for Fleming Roofing and Restoration, because the weather gets a little bit more treacherous. And if you need somebody to take care of your roof, you just got to look them up online. FlemingHSV.com is the place to find them. And remember that they show up. You can fill out your free quote today.
Yeah, so you need to absolutely be doing that. Tonight you get Braves baseball, because apparently now they want to start winning. Thanks for that. Winners of 5 of the last 7. We appreciate that. Yeah. Last night, I knew about the rain delay. I turned it over. Oh, they're in rain delay coverage. Okay, cool. No problem. Just going to go about my evening. I'll check back. I'll get a notification that the Braves game started. Get the notification the Braves game started. I swap over. Next thing you know, I look up right when the TV turned to the game. 6-0 Mets. I'm like, all right, screw that. Turning the channel. Not even going to pay attention to the rest of this. That was my decision. Not knowing that in the 4th inning, the Braves were going to score 9 runs and eventually win that game 11-6 and come back and beat the Mets. Yeah, that's on me. That one's on me.
Destruction.
This is now that period of time where I'm just like, you know what? I don't have to watch every game. I don't have to watch it. And look what happens. I miss an amazing comeback against the team that we obviously hate the most for a Braves fan.
Well, there you go, Joe. You can't be a fair weather fan.
I'm not fair weather. It's just, again, unless they go on like a 10-game winning streak, there's no reason to even think about it.
You're telling me you're not going to watch every single Braves game of the season, all 160-something of them.
I will a lot of times put a Braves game on, and then once we go through the evening and we start getting into the routines with the kids and getting them in baths and showers.
Okay, so you care about the kids more than the team?
I mean, I know that makes me a horrible person.
Fake?
But yes.
No, it doesn't make you a horrible person. It makes you a fake fan, Joe.
Yeah, it's just I know I'm bad. I'm horrible at this. Like I'm sorry. So what I do is I put the kids to bed. Once we get the kids to bed and I go back into the office, I then turn the game back on to see what the score is. And if the Braves are getting blown out, I just turn the game off. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this.
Play some Japanese baseball.
That's exactly what I was doing.
I knew.
I was playing Hanshin Tigers with the against the Fighters. It's interleague play that I'm playing right now. My Teriyaki Sato had 3 home runs last night. So that's happening in fake life. In real life, we now have the matchup that we're going to see for the Rocket City Classic over at the VBC because that is just now becoming official. Max Cohen over at Way 31 has sent out the message saying that this year on December 21st, Alabama will be taking on Kennesaw State in the Rocket City Classic. So be prepared for that. If you enjoyed last year's Rocket City Classic, you can make sure that you go back to the VBC for this year. It's going to be on December 21st down at the VBC in Probst Arena.
Yeah, I remember last year, I think I was actually in the studio. I was helping keep that on the air.
Yes.
And I remember a lot of the controversy around the court getting a little bit slippery. I think Tom and Steve were actually doing the game on the air.
Yeah, no, that was the Memphis Bama game, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a preseason game. See, this one's happening December 21st.
Oh, so this is the one during the season.
This is in season.
But it's the same thing?
Yeah, I think the way it sounds now is that this is moved from a charity event like it was last year where they're doing an exhibition now to an in-season game.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So-
that's even bigger than last year. It's Kennesaw State. Say what you will about that. But I know one of the listeners who is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline knows a thing or two about the Owls, and that is one Mr. Brandon. Brandon, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm sitting here and I was thinking Joe yesterday, he was talking about, music for y'all's rage room.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering if he wanted to throw a little silver chair tomorrow or Cody's Possum King in there for that.
Look, man, I don't know what I found last time we did this, and I've got to go and re-find it again just
Use
because
Shazam.
I found like a random Spotify playlist with like hard rock instrumentals, and that is exactly where it is. So we talked about the Disturbed, and Brandon, when I tell you that I found another version of that Indestructible, I absolutely hate the fact. I don't know if it's because we talked about it and my phone is listening and it heard it, so it brought it up in the algorithm. But I found a remix version right now that I absolutely hate, that I enjoy, and it is so far from what the original song is. I hate myself for enjoying this thing.
Well, I'm kind of the same way with the Outfield's Your Love.
Yes.
They did a 80s techno remix of that. And it's fantastic. Like crashing guitar way over the top. I think it's Midfield or somebody done it.
Yeah.
And I put it on one night and some people looked at me and they were like, they couldn't take it for a minute. They just couldn't. They were like, somebody redid this song. But then when they heard the music, they were like, not bad.
No,
not bad at all.
And I hate that because I love remixes, and I love.
But you love?
I love remixes, and I also love cover songs.
What the heck?
I do.
See, there's a select few cover songs that'll get me going like, whoa,
And the reason is because I love cover songs because I love seeing different people's interpretations of a song. Especially, I don't like direct covers where it sounds identical to the original. It's just a different person singing. I like it when it's like a totally different cadence, a totally different melody, like every bit of it. And I have a playlist on my Spotify that is nothing but cover songs that I like. And that's where I kind of go to get some ideas, because I sit there and go, okay, these people came up with this idea. This jogs my mind and gets it start working on coming up with new ideas.
You're all about like the Five Finger Death Punch doing like a Michael Jackson cover, or like The Weeknd doing Dirty Diana. It's all the Michael Jackson covers for me, guys. This is the only.
No,
covers
there is
that I
one
like.
that I listened to earlier today that was a Michael Jackson cover. It was a cover of "They Don't Care About Us," and it was a hard rock band that did it. And dude, it hits. Like it really hits.
Brandon, this is also coming from a guy who is listening to Disney songs that are covered by a rock band as well. So
hits.
Well, I remember when Master P covered and redid himself when he did Make 'Em Say number 2 back in '98, because we almost didn't have a pep rally because it got so out of control. the week before.
See? It's not just me, man.
Because
They get people lit.
Because everybody was taking the make them say and marrying it to the DX crossbars, and it got really out of hand.
No, I'm telling you, there are some remixes that I've learned, and don't you make fun of my "Let It Go" just because it's heavy metal.
Let it go. That's kind of what it sounds like.
Now, you want to connect what we just talked about last segment as far as kids of the 90s? Brandon, did you ever watch the movie The Mighty Ducks?
Oh, yes.
All right, did you watch D2 and D3?
I think I saw 2. I don't know if I saw 3.
All right, so if I told you the character Dean Portman, do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
He is married to the girl that sings Let It Go.
Good for him.
Boy, he hit the lottery.
I mean, right? I had no idea of this. I had no idea. Dude was like an opera singer or something like that, and he plays one of the most influential characters in all of movie sports history or sports movie history. Dean Portman was like goals, man. No, and I just learned that yesterday.
Well, I remember in 91, I wanted to be Keno, the pizza delivery guy from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That'll get you canceled today.
Well, also, I think Keno also, didn't he play wasn't he also Leonardo? Like he had like a dual role in that movie. Like, I think he was both characters. Like, he played, because in every single Ninja,
so long since I've seen it.
True story, in every single Ninja Turtle movie, as every one of the actual guys that are in the Ninja Turtle suits also make cameos as their real selves throughout the movie.
This is true. This is true.
I guess it's been so long since I've seen it.
He was Michelangelo, yeah.
Yeah, he was Mike. He was Mikey. See, he was Mikey. That's the reason why.
Donatello. It was one of the few.
Yeah, he was. He was a Ninja Turtle. One of the best opening scenes ever.
You were talking to the wrestling guy, and I couldn't let this go by. Which what he had to say was fantastic. Good job to him. Hat tip to him. August 10th, 96 was when Hogan spray painted the belt. It was 29 years ago, technically this week.
It was at Hog Wild in South Dakota, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it was a Hog Wild. I did not remember where it was at. I didn't remember the Hog Wild part. I had to look it up. That's crazy to think. It's been 29 years ago this week that he spray painted the belt. And it took what was our outrage crazy.
And what's crazy about it is that outside of a few people putting some stickers and other things on titles, nobody else has even thought about doing that. Like, that's how influential it was. We're like, you didn't do it because people would say, oh, you're doing the NWO thing. Like, nobody does that. Nobody did it and has ever done it since, because the first thing you think of is that's it. Like, there are certain things now that you cannot do even to this day because NWO did it. It's like The Simpsons. NWO did it. Can't do it.
The stories that I have heard about what went on off the stage up at Sturgis after that Hog Wild, not safe for work, dude. That might have been the partyingest after party they ever had after a pay-per-view event.
May not be safe for work.
No.
They could be safe for the show.
Yeah. It's again, Sturgis show ends around 10 o'clock at night after an entire day of people on motorcycles drinking like crazy. Yeah, there's going to be some things that happen because that was a free show. WCW didn't charge admission for that. They just said, hey, can we do the show in the middle of Sturgis and just surround the entire ring with motorcycles? They did.
Why don't they do that more now?
Because they lost so much money. Do you know how many free shows WCW put on at times just for the look of it alone? Let's not forget their final show in WCW history was where? At Club La Vila in Panama City. On the swimming pool. Like, they would do a show at Club La Vila.
It's wild.
They would lose so much money because they wouldn't charge admission to some of these things.
It was on a pool.
See, I told you.
It's like spring break, baby.
It was spring break. That's exactly when it was, because it was in March.
Yeah, it was March 10th.
Yes.
1997. That's a ridiculous venue.
Yes. They put the ring on top of the pool. Yes.
That's cool.
So I know how much Joe loves to talk about the Browns, so I'm going to throw something in here.
Yes.
But before I do, I just got through looking. Air Force is going to have their F-16 uniforms when they play Navy at Navy, which I'm going to, and they have not come out with a T-shirt yet. So I just went on Fanatics and bought myself a subdued palm tree Air Force polo to have something to wear there, and when my son gets home, we'll buy him something.
Nice.
But I'm really hoping they come out with a T-shirted version of the F-16 jersey because I'd like to wear that if I get the chance.
Yeah.
But I was looking at some numbers yesterday. So only about 4 times total since they came back in 99 have Browns quarterbacks, when you take every quarterback that's on the team, had they combined to throw for more than 4,000 yards. It's only happened a couple times. Happened this year. Will all of the Browns quarterbacks combined throw for 4,000 yards?
Ooh. I think that there's definitely a possibility. I mean, when you think of the only quarterback that threw 4,000 yards for this team ever, what do we got to go back to Bernie Kosar? Something like that. We got to go way back.
5. I believe it was 5.
It might have been side. But either way, it was before I was born. So that's the thing that we're going to be looking at. Look, if Joe Flacco starts, he definitely has a chance if he's playing all season long. But again, he's getting up there. We don't know how he's going to be this season. Even last season, he was a little bit regressing from the year before that. On top of that, the rest of the quarterbacks are looking injured. If Tyler Huntley is going to have to start a freaking game, I don't think it's happening. If he starts one game, it's not happening.
Okay, so it's not happening.
But if Dylan Gabriel gets to play a little bit more, I think he might be playing this week. There's a possibility. I think there's a possibility.
Here's the reason why I'm going to say
again,
it's
this
not
is the Browns.
Happen.
This is the Browns we're talking about.
I'm going to say it's not going to happen, and it has nothing to do with the talented quarterback or anything like that. The reason why I don't think it's going to happen is because of the division that they play in, the weather that they play in November and December. Like, there's going to be a few games where they have to rely so heavily on the run because of either a wet field, snow, something like that, that it is going to cause them to have to dip down in passing percentage.
There's a possibility of that, but
that's the reason why I would say it wouldn't happen.
Usually doesn't affect them as much as you think. There might be one game where the field has a little bit of snow on it. There might be 2 games where, there's snow at the beginning of the game and then it kind of weeds out. But I don't think it plays as much of a role that you would think. But regardless, I mean, this is the Browns. Their wide receiver room is a little shaky. Their quarterbacks are all shaky. They're not going to have all of them. They might use 3 quarterbacks altogether this season. And who knows? Deshaun Watson might be back by week 18.
Is that a running joke at this point?
Deshaun Watson possibly making a comeback? Jeez.
Yes.
Well, we have him for 2 more years, so we better hope we get a little bit more out of him.
You have to have him for 2 more years because of the money.
It'd be a similar situation with Kirk Cousins.
Except there's teams that actually want Kirk Cousins.
That's the difference here. Honestly, I'm a Browns guy, and I want Kirk Cousins, but I don't think we're in the running for that.
No. Would you take this bad contract for this bad contract? Can we just swap bad contracts?
I think if they brought Kirk Cousins on board and it didn't work out, the team would just have to fold.
We were having that conversation yesterday, and we realized that, okay, I said, so is the goal for the Browns to combine all 4 quarterbacks to try to get 4,000 yards, which they did not make it last year. They fell a little short.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to bring that up and ask John about it. And I didn't realize the last time it happened was 1980 with Brian Sight. So AOL came into beginning and end and ended their dial-up, and a Browns quarterback never threw for 4,000 yards the whole time they were open.
Hey, there's still some teams that haven't thrown for 4,000 yards with one quarterback.
I can't make fun of it.
Are the Titans one of them?
I think
the Titans might be one of them.
No, I think the Titans just haven't done it since like 91.
So since the Titans were actually a thing.
Yeah, since the Titans were the Titans. The Tennessee Titans have never done it. The Tennessee Titans organization, different story.
Gotcha.
I think because Warren Moon did.
Brandon, we got to hit a break, man. Appreciate you calling in, bro.
Roll Tide, paint the belt.
I found the mashup, by the way.
Okay. I think the rest of the show should just be mashups or like cover songs.
I found the mashup of Disturbed and NSYNC.
Oh, wait. We still have some sports to talk.
We do, as a matter of fact, because Brian Matthews was actually on Talking Ball earlier this morning.
Mm-hmm.
He said something very interesting about the Auburn quarterback situation. Now,
funny.
I'm going to throw a disclaimer out. There is not going to be any Hugh Freeze bashing. This is not me wanting to go. This is a very real situation for Auburn that could also be a real situation for other SEC teams.
Well, Lane Kiffin's doing the bashing now. So
Oh my heavens, loved his tweet. I loved it. I posted on Instagram. You follow me at Joe Hunk. I posted on Instagram earlier. So great. We'll continue phone calls as well. 256-576-977. The Blitz on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, at WZZN TV.
Phone lines are open now. 256-576-4977. This is The Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Steve Moulton for Tellini's Italiano. Tellini's Italiano is located right in front of the Walmart, right off of University, behind the McDonald's. More or less catty corner from Topgolf. It's one of my favorite places to go to, and if you go there, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you need to try the baked spaghetti, add a meatball. Also try the baked ziti with meat sauce, add sausage. You'll thank me. Save room for some pizzas and paninis as well. And don't forget about dessert as well. The best cheesecake I have had here in North Alabama is at Tellini's Italiano. Find out for yourself today. That's Tellini's Italiano, right off of University Drive in front of the Walmart. Located online at Tellinis.com. That's TELLINIS.com. Let's get some Tellini's tonight.
What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That you paint your body, your car, and your dog your school colors? Maybe. But it means more than that. It means your alumni network includes the state, the country, and beyond. It means your school ring doubles as your resume. And yeah, you better believe it means more titles, like doctor, CEO, and your honor. Because this is the SEC. And here, it just means more. What does it mean to be part of the Southeastern Conference? That yours is the only conference with its own chant? Well, yes, but it means more than that. It means a study abroad program that might include reforestation in a mangrove swamp in Australia. It means finding your calling, your future spouse, your startup's co-founders, and of course, grilling tongs that play your fight song. This is the SEC, and here, it just means more.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a bad compressor or leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
The powers and calling you away. Another time to carry the colors again. My motivation is no musical. Doing the honor of coming back home again.
It's sad that I actually don't hate it.
I'm not the dark destroyer that's buried within.
It gets better because at some point in time, they start sprinkling in NSYNC into it, actually like vocals.
I'll have you know that I become indestructible.
It's so bad.
That's what I was waiting for. That's actually not terrible.
See?
It's
not
bad.
horrible.
I mean, it's still horrible, but that part on its own was actually pretty good.
It was not horrible. Like, it wasn't. No, I mean, that's not going to be our song for the Hype Gauge, Hype Cage.
No.
Which one have we done?
It's the Hype
See?
Man, we've said so many. And then we had Hype Train.
There was Hype Train.
It's the Hype Gauge in the Hype Cage. Because this is, you know what? That's going to be the studio's name.
Is the Hype Cage?
It's going to be the Hype Cage.
Okay.
But we're going to be doing the Hype Gauge
inside the Hype Cage
on the Hype Train.
You know, I'm going to have to be the one that
season.
voices this because I'm going to have to get into that demonic, like low Hype Cage, like that whole thing.
I thought you just like start potting up the music. Look at us talking about how the show is going to go.
Yeah.
Regardless, 256-576-9777, the number 2 hop in. Wolverine Dan is on with us. Wolverine Dan, how you doing, man?
Did you say trains?
Yes. Train.
Oh, me and my homie like to play this game. Some call it Amtrak, but I call it a train. We all line up in a single file line, taking the turns and whacking girls behind. Nibble on the like a rack does cheese.
Brody, can you get that clip so we can play it whenever we're doing
keep going. No, I wanted you to keep going on that. I actually like that.
Good job by you.
And before I get my take, I'll say go blue, help on that, Brandon. Woo-woo! All right, brother. Hey, listen. I'll take Collins all day long.
You mean Cousins?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Cousins.
Okay.
That's what he meant.
I'll take Cousins all day long. We need him. Our backups are awful. Okay, period. We're in trouble if the backups get to play the game. We're not. We don't look good at all. And I'll tell you what. I'll never take Mahomie. I don't want Mahomie. You can put him at any other team but mine, please.
I really think you need to watch something else other than that documentary about Patrick Mahomes. I really, really do, because
maybe a Super Bowl.
Your view of him compared to what I know and what a lot of other they're not the same. Well, I'm kind of confused.
He's not wrong though about the backups though for Detroit.
Backups for Detroit are awful.
I hate seeing Hendon Hooker not play well, but Kyle Allen, similar to Brandon Allen or Tim Boyle, it's just not a good one.
All right, I'm just telling you. You know, I maybe I should stop watching it, Joe, because I can't stand the guy.
No, I'm just saying there are a lot of other documentaries. Look, like The Kingdom. The Kingdom is about to start on Disney Plus. Like that thing that starts like may actually be today, I believe, is what it drops. But like something like that. Like there's a lot more to Patrick Mahomes than what you see in that one. And did you watch the first season of Quarterback?
I've watched every one of them.
Okay, because first season it was a lot about his workout regimen, like everything that he does, like during the off season and all that, just to get ready for the season. Like there was a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah, he needs to either go to like a speech therapist or that has religious backgrounds and maybe try to empty out that F-bomb all the time.
I will tell you right now, the amount of times he said the F word in that show is nowhere close to the amount of times any team is going to say the F word during a football game on Sunday.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just telling you, like trust me, that word is like using the word "the" in a sentence. Like it is everywhere.
I think it's so off-putting because he sounds like a child whenever he says
he does. It does sound like you need to spank him or something like that. It's like you shouldn't be
Right,
talking like
right.
that.
No, Patrick, you stop. You do not say that. No,
Did he just say that? I can't believe he just said that. Was that from you? Did he learn that from you?
Well, all right, guys. I'm sorry I dirtied up the conversation.
It's okay.
But forget about it. I might have to go see somebody because every time I see the guy, all I want to do is tackle him and thrash him to the ground.
Therapy, it's one thing. Well, I appreciate the serenade you gave us, man.
That
really
was absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, put that in your roll what do you call it? Compilations.
Yes.
Your Rolodex.
All the sounders. Yeah, we can call it a Rolodex. Appreciate you, Wolverine Dan. Looking forward to the wacky underdog picks, man.
See you, bro. When is that supposed to be?
Oh, it's right around the corner.
I was about to say, when is this supposed to be?
We start going into week 1 or week 0 of college football, but prior to that, if we are going to be doing some of these high school picks, that means the 23rd is going to be the date.
I am waiting on the picks to get put up just to make sure that they're doing it this year.
But it's going to be the opening week of college football, which is going to be around the 28th, 29th, 30th.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Yep.
Team 4.
Good stuff, man. You said something about Rashee Rice. He actually came in here and said something about
Rashee Rice, who is a receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs. That honestly, if you are looking to get into a fantasy football league, I wouldn't say he would be one of your first-round draft picks, but if he's available in maybe the second or third round, absolutely go for him because of his.
Let's be real, Joe. If this was 2 years ago and he never got into trouble at SMU, and then he never got trouble, going into his first year with the Chiefs, and if he, could kind of stay out of trouble moving forward, I think Rashee Rice could be like a Tyreek Hill type of player. But again, at a young age.
No, he has amazing talent, and his ability in the offense and on the field is going to be directly determined by the case that he is currently going in, and they keep pushing the hearing back more and more and more. Last year when he got in trouble, a lot of people were wondering if he was even going to play, and then you started to see, well, the court hearing is for this date, and then it got pushed back, and then the court hearing is for this day, and then it got pushed back. Well, just a few moments ago, it got pushed back yet again, because I want to say it's now is it the middle of October now, Brody?
September 30th.
So September 30th. So it's right before October starts. But again, just like what we were talking about with Malcolm Simmons, this could put him in he is now no longer available, and we've putting him on the PUP list. He's done for the season type stuff.
Well, outside of that, I mean, it could be like I don't want to say Dante Stallworth type of situation, but I mean, if a guy ruins the majority of his young career, it gets to a point where he has a tough time even finding it onto a field. I mean, the recent allocations we got, or the recent deal we had with Henry Ruggs, was that most recent thing where, it's a player, he ends up getting in an accident. Of course, unfortunately, he ends the lives of two people, a person and a dog. And then what happens? Well, he's in jail. When's he going to come back? We don't really know. He still wants to come back. There is a possibility that he does come back. But again, just like that, a very, very good-looking college wide receiver cuts his career short just like that. And I'd hate for that to be the case for Rashee Rice. But a lot of these players now, they're getting so much money at such a young age, they're able to get these fast cars. They're able to live these highfalutin lifestyles. I sound so old whenever I'm talking like that.
God,
but regardless,
I was on the other Abraham show.
But that stuff kind of buys in. Now, it gives in to the temptation to drive fast on the road with these Ferraris or the Lamborghinis and all that stuff.
It does. In a lot of ways that you do that is by playing well and being able to make some money for it. A lot of times you're going to get paid well and you don't get paid what you should, or I should say you don't play well. And then there are those times when you are supposed to be playing well and you're going to get benched for the person behind you. And Wolverine Dan brought up the backup quarterbacks and what was going on with the Detroit Lions, and the fact that after golf, I mean, again, Hooker didn't look that great. There's not that many options for it. But it was interesting earlier today because Brian Matthews was on with Talking Ball, and part of the conversation that came up was about Jackson Arnold and his play on the field and what were to potentially happen if it kind of went sideways with Jackson Arnold. And here is what Brian Matthews had to say.
Well, and we know they love Deuce Knight at the quarterback now. But do you anticipate them maybe playing him a little bit and yet still redshirting him, or will they have a package for Deuce with Jackson Arnold?
That's a good question. I don't I don't know. I think they'll certainly play him at least 4 games.
Right.
But if it was me looking at his ability, I would get him as much playing time as possible because he looks like he could, or he is the highest upside quarterback on this roster right now and can be better than anybody they have right now. I'm not saying that for certain, but I could just see that occurring. Maybe Jackson comes out there and plays lights out and we don't think about that again. We'll see. But I could see him playing.
Which I think is the case that's going to happen. I think Jackson's going to play reasonable ball. I don't think it's going to be bad. I don't think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be able to move this team along at a decent pace. But second string is another starting quarterback from another school in Stanford and Ashton Daniels. Why isn't he talked about as much? Well, because you got a guy that's a 5-star in Deuce Knight. And again, he's right about this upside. Similar to what's going on with Alabama. You're in a weird situation where you have 2 guys that, yes, could start for any other conference. But with the team that you've got, you need to make sure one guy is ready to play, and then your freshman quarterback is ready to play as soon as he's done, because these guys are super talented. And I don't know if he's more talented than Ty Simpson, but he's got more versatility. And that's what I look at with college football players in this day and age, especially at the QB position.
How interesting that you have had both people that cover Alabama and cover Auburn that have said probably in the last week on this radio station that we know that Ty Simpson is the starter. We know that Jackson Arnold is the starter. But that true freshman they have at some point in time is going to be the guy.
You're not wrong. 2 days ago, we had upside on the freshman is so much more
Russell.
than anybody else.
And it was talked about with him as far as we know. And I think that even because I think what the question was for him was, why did they wait this long to make the decision on naming Ty Simpson the quarterback for Alabama? And the answer was more about how, there was this conversation about Keelan Russell and about his ability, and it was Mac Rodak that was on with us. And you can hear that just by going back to our SoundCloud or going back to and watching on YouTube.
From Bama 247.
Yeah, Bama 247, that he said, there was a lot of conversation about the ability of Russell, and I think that Alabama actually wanted to see it on the field because if he came in and showed out the way that there was a thought that he might be able to because of his ability, that he could be the starting quarterback. Now, that ended up not happening. He has progressed, but it wasn't so much better than Ty Simpson that they had to go away from the plan with Ty. With Auburn, it's very interesting because you heard this. Now, you mentioned, the backup quarterback, Ashton Daniels. The way that it's being discussed with him is that he is coming in on like a true read option RPO type situation.
He'll get his uses.
He's going to get his uses, but his uses are going to be more in options for him to actually utilize his legs more.
Exactly.
Rollouts, those types of plays. Whereas I think that Auburn really sees Deuce Knight as the actual number 2 quarterback to come in the blowout games or something like that. Like if there's a game that gets out of hand, that's when they get Deuce Knight in. The interesting part is going to be, if a Jackson Arnold were to struggle, when would you make a change? If Ty Simpson were to struggle, when would you make that change? Because we just heard again in the past week that both freshman quarterbacks have that star potential to surpass the starting quarterback that's currently the QB1.
Yeah, and I think that it is interesting because I believe it was also focused, the question for Rodak was focused on Austin Mack. Kind of in an awkward position, but at the same time for Alabama,
kind of like Ashton Daniels,
and for Alabama and Auburn, they're both in decent situations because again they get guys that connect with the coaches or have started at the schools prior. I think both of these guys are again serviceable at starting in any other conference, possibly some of the lower tier schools within the SEC, but within their team right now, don't think that's the case. What's weird for this whole thing around Ashton Daniels is he is a mobile quarterback the same way that Jackson Arnold can be a mobile quarterback. How often are they actually going to switch the QB and just pretty much show their cards to the defense compared to just using Jackson Arnold to roll out?
There's another question. So if so-and-so that's calling play number 1, what if he wants that play to be with Ashton Daniels, or if he wants it to be with Deuce Knight? Like, how are we going to figure this out? I also did love the fact that Lane Kiffin goes, okay, so who's calling the plays on 4th down?
Yeah.
Like it was like, these are the conversations that are now being spun out. I love that Lane Kiffin made this joke because we all know how asinine this is now. Like, I'm genuinely curious. Like, if all these different coaches are calling it, do they all have their favorite players? Like, are they all going to be calling for certain packages that have the certain players in it? That would be an Ashton Daniels, a Deuce Knight?
That would be wild. So not just that there's 3 different coaches calling plays, but there's also 3 different quarterbacks.
Derek Nix package right here. We can tell it's a Derek Nix package.
All right, first down, Jackson Arnold, you're out there.
All right, it's a Ken Austin package right here.
Second down, Ashton, get out there, Ashton.
This package makes no sense. It's a Hugh Freeze package. This one's a Hugh Freeze package.
We still got Walker White.
Yeah, Walter White. He was still on the team. More beneficial for his school than what Walker White was for Auburn. It's because Walker White didn't get the opportunity. Those are the questions that I'm curious about it because the thing about Auburn is, and this could all be a smokescreen. Every bit of it could be a smokescreen as far as what players are playing, what coaches are calling what, like how is all this going? Like this could all be a smokescreen to try to throw Baylor off. They're like, oh, what are we going to get? We have no idea what's coming towards us on August 29th. Like that could be it. And then it could be coming out and Auburn is acting like a real football team. Like that could be the case. But how many teams in the SEC do you think will start with one quarterback in their first game, but will have a totally different quarterback starting in their final game of the season? 256-576-977. Think about that.
I'm going to think about it. For the listeners, if you guys have one specific team, I think that would be the better route to go because, again, there are
I can already think of like 2 or 3 teams.
Of course, there's going to be a few of them.
Yeah.
But I know for Auburn, there's 4 games that I'm looking at that could totally change the way that we're going to see this starting quarterback role go. Regardless, you guys can join in. We'll be right back here on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, and WZZN TV.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham. You can watch the Blitz live now on X at 97.7 ESPN.
16 teams.
Yes! The Rebels recover it! That is a touchdown, Alabama.
1 goal.
My goal is a national championship, to win the SEC championship, and win the national championship.
This is the battle for Atlanta.
Touchdown! Touchdown! Dogs are SEC champions!
Now through August 21st. Join us each day as we preview the 2025 SEC football season. Only on your home for SEC football.
Check out the battle for Atlanta each Saturday morning here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Worried about market losses? If headlines are keeping you up at night, it's time to take control. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I know you've worked hard to save. But in times like these, what if can turn into what now? If you're planning to retire or are in retirement, you need a strategy that helps protect your future. At Trajan Wealth, you can capture market gains, protect your account from losses, and guarantee income for life. Right now, you could receive a bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. You heard me right. An upfront bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10%, all guaranteed to boost your lifetime income in retirement. Don't leave your future to chance. Plan with confidence. Call Trajan today at 256-208-9000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company, DBA, in most states as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
The Atlanta Braves.
3-2. Swung on, ground ball up the middle. Let's go for a ride. Here comes Eli. Across the plate standing. Braves win. Never gets old, does it?
All season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Wow.
I love not having the control.
I know. It's so funny when I start to hear you actually doing and it's on the air. That is so awesome.
You guys can be on the air as well. 256-576-97.7. Joe, you had a very interesting question to end off the last segment about.
I did. First off, final segment, best segment.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that, please.
That's a pretty important part of the show.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, but yeah, the question has to come with the conversation that we heard about the Auburn Tigers. Brian Matthews was on earlier today on Talking Ball, and he was talking about Deuce Knight and his role in the offense. And you can hear that entire interview simply by going to our SoundCloud, or you can go to YouTube and watch Talking Ball's episode from this morning, as well as on Facebook and X. But he talked about how Deuce Knight has the most upside out of any quarterback that's on Auburn's roster currently, and how Brian Matthews says that he could see him absolutely playing at least 4 games, maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
And I was curious about the whole thought process is, is he eventually going to be the starting quarterback if Jackson Arnold doesn't perform? But then the question is more about the entire SEC and how many teams do you think are going to start the season with one quarterback, but end the season with another quarterback.
And I think also Brian Matthews was throwing out something. It's a little bit cryptic. He says 4 games we could be seeing Deuce Knight. Well, which games are we talking? Are we saying he just comes in? Because Mercer could be one of those on top of that, Ball State, and of course South Alabama. But I feel like there's one more game in there that we could end up seeing him, and maybe that's going to come from a blowout. But Joe, I'm looking at a few different schools, okay? I don't think Texas is going to even think about it, all right? There's a few schools that are kind of set in stone. They're not going to even want to do it. Zach Calzada at Kentucky, Taylon Green at Arkansas. I don't think there's going to be that much movement there. But when it comes to a team like Oklahoma with John Mateer starting, if that whole thing doesn't work out, they're going to be going to their next man up. And I think that's Michael Hawkins Jr. I think he actually transferred in from Arkansas. So actually, I don't know if you can do that. You can't do that. So it was just Michael Hawkins. I think regardless, they're able to go to that second man because, of course, they have a little bit more of an opening. But I think they're riding on John Mateer. Texas A&M, Marcel Reed's going to be the starter. Who'd they pick up during the offseason? Jacob Zeno from UAB. He was a big, bulky quarterback that, honestly, he's more of a thrower than a passer. I would also say he's more of a runner than a thrower. It's a little bit of a confusing spot for Texas A&M, but I think that would be the case. Bo Pribula, Sam Horn. That was an interesting one. Do I think it's actually going to happen? No. I think Bo Pribula is going to be the for sure starter for the entire season. We saw it last year with Brady Cook. The year before that, Brady Cook did not get transferred out. Eli Drinkwitz, he loves the quarterback that he rocks with, and he keeps them in all season long.
Dodgers would love that too.
DJ Lagway, this is an interesting one because if you add in the injuries, Brody made a really good point. If you add in the injuries, they've got some decent quarterbacks in the backup position. But would you want to see it happen? If you are a Florida fan, you do not want to see DJ Lagway off the field when that offense is rolling. I don't think that that's going to be the case. I think DJ Lagway is going to.
You really think Harrison Bailey is going to keep that team rolling?
No, I don't.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
he's a serviceable quarterback. I'll say that he is serviceable, but of course you want the more proven guy. DJ Lagway is the dude that they want to roll with. Garrett Nussmeier, again, similar story as Florida. You don't want to see him injured. You don't want to have Michael Van Buren in. I think
Van Buren.
Again, he's serviceable as a backup for another team. But I don't think it's going to happen. And I believe Michael Hawkins Jr., yes, at Oklahoma, was at Arkansas last year. Pretty sure he was the reason why they won against Tennessee.
So how many? Because you've said like 7 teams.
I'm going to say 5. There's 5 teams.
Wow.
That I could throw there in.
Okay, so what were the teams? Like right now, if I were to say, John, make your decision.
Alabama. I could say Auburn. I could say
no. You think Alabama and Auburn are going to have different quarterbacks?
Oh, for sure. I think there's a possibility. I think for sure there's Auburn. I think, although I said it again about Mizzou, I think Mizzou, just because injury could happen. Florida, Ole Miss, if Austin Simmons doesn't work out, I would not want to see them go to the development in the second string.
I'm going to write these down.
You should, because some of them are a little bit iffy.
Yeah, iffy as in far as you haven't actually given an answer on it.
I've given you 4. And Tennessee.
Yeah.
So there's my 5.
Okay, so your 5 are Auburn,
mm-hmm.
Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
He's already forgetting.
I am, because I was also looking for the document that I'm trying to keep all of our stuff like this for.
Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
Florida. I forgot the other one.
See? Now you even forgot.
We're going to have to look back on the tape. Tennessee? I already said Tennessee.
Yeah, Auburn, Tennessee, Ole Miss, and Florida. Okay. I'm going to say 3. I'm going to say Kentucky. I'm going to say Mississippi State. I'll say Auburn.
Oh, my gosh. Here's a cop-out. He went to the teams that nobody's going to be focusing on.
No, because Calzada's awful.
He's the best thing they got.
But it doesn't matter. He's still awful.
They're not going to take out awful and put worse in.
Shapen, I just don't think he makes it through the season. He didn't make it through the season last year because he dove and broke his shoulder or whatever happened to him.
I'm going to dive and break his shoulder, too, before the next show.
Friday, Abraham, coming up at noon. Love you, bye.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
Marc and Henry McDaniel, attorneys at law, are proud